So we're getting ready to celebrate and drop the ball.
And I'm like, come on through, Corky. I want to put my soapbox. That's basically it. Let's talk about drag and all its forms. What, Cookie?
Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review for season 2, episode 6 of Queen Sugar. Like I said, we're getting ready to celebrate and drop the ball. The Queen Sugar meal is actually opening, and there is celebrations that are actually going to be at hand. There's actually an interviewer who is actually in town. He's not the interviewer that Charlie was expecting. He is actually one of that interviewer's colleagues who the one that Charlie was expecting had actually did a piece in Esquire on Davis previously. So we get this other guy, and he is a jerk. He's a jerk. He really is. He's a journalist. It is what it is. It kind of comes with the territory, but a bit of a jerk. So he comes in, and he literally, when they get to it, he gets right down to it. He is right into not asking about the meal, but really asking about Davis and the sexual assault piece and all of that, and the dynamics of Charlie's marriage, and well, where's Davis, and this, that, thing, and the other. And it's not strange that Davis wouldn't be there. You know, ball players, they travel all the time. So he's just pushing. And I'm like, okay, we have Darla in place. She's doing a great job doing what she's supposed to be doing, assisting Charlie. And everything just looks pretty good. So we got this jackass, and he's doing his thing. He's just very, very forward. It was irritating the hell out of me. It's also been a year. I believe it's been a year. So they're planning to go up and actually, do some time at Papa Bordelon's gravesite and that whole thing. Aunt Vi's not feeling it. She's like, I put him up there. I buried him once, and I'm not trying to go back up there. And, throughout the process, Hollywood actually talks to her and tell her, you know what, this is something that you need to do. You need to go pay your respects. And I was like, ooh, I'm bad about that. Because once you're dead, you're done. I'm not coming to I don't understand that thing of people throwing parties for people who have passed on. I'm not going to a party for a person that has died. I'm not doing it. I'm literally not doing it. I'm not sitting up with you all, because it would be different if it was a situation where you always see people and they do these parties and they are happy. No, they're sad as hell. They're crying and falling out all over again. I ain't got shit to do. I don't have time for that. I'm not getting ready to put myself in a position to be sad on purpose. I'm not doing it. So, I know that's the thing. I'm old. I'm older person. I'm 45 years old. I just can't. It's not even my thing. And the thing is, I don't even really do funerals, wakes, and viewings. None of that stuff is my thing. I'll have my own time to be the guest of honor or whatever. But no, I'm not, because I don't even want all that. But I just don't. I don't like that. And I will show up for a funeral when it's absolutely necessary, when I'm very, very close to the person and they are requesting that I come to support them with it, and I'll do it. But other than that, I am not coming to see no stiffs. I ain't got time for it. It's not my thing. Anyway, so I understood where Val was going. Hollywood's like, you're basically a matriarch of your family, and you need to fall in place. I understood that as well. Anyway, in the meantime, between time, Nova has actually found an old paycheck, a paycheck that hadn't been cashed. It's probably his final paycheck, which was Papa Bordelon's paycheck. Remember, they didn't know that he actually had a job working as a custodian to support himself and Blue and keep paying the bills and stuff on the house, and that he wasn't farming. So that has actually come into play. Remember, Charlie doesn't know. Um, Mr. Prosper, we found out he knew that Ernest was working. He didn't know where. Ernest wouldn't tell him where. And he worked at night. So Ernest wouldn't tell him where. So that was very interesting. I was like, okay, oh boy, where's this going to go? So we got all that going on. In the midst of the day, and they were actually getting ready for the setup for everything. It was a whole big, beautiful banquet she had set up right there on the grounds of the mill. And Darla had messed up and spilled coffee on herself. And Charlie, I said, go on, Charlie. Charlie's really being really good with Darla. And I don't even think, she's not going overboard, like trying to be good to Darla. She's just being decent to Darla. And Darla's not used to people being decent. She's been run around a crackhead. People don't want to be bothered with a crackhead. It just is what it is, whether it's right, wrong, or different. Don't nobody want to be bothered with no goddamn crackhead. You be giving them very much of shoe fly, go away from here, go away from me with that. So Charlie's just being decent to Darla, and it's like, she's like, oh wow, okay. So she told Darla, Darla was like, I'm so sorry, Charlie, and she said, nothing to throw her off. She gave her the keys, full trust, gave her the keys, told her, go on up to my living quarters and find yourself something to wear. She went up, found, and I was like, okay, Darla, what are you going, she's going through Charlie's stuff. All her shit is designer, all her shit's fly. And there's this dress. I'm like, I said, I hope this ain't going to be no issue. You put the wrong thing on, honey. But she found a beautiful, beautiful black dress. And she put it on, and she come on back down, and she's doing her thing, and she really looked good. She took her hair down and everything, you know what I mean? Because she was like just in a plain old, pair of slacks and a cotton blouse. Well, she put this black dress on and took her hair down and she looked like she belonged there at that point. She looked really, really good. She really did. And that damn Ralph Angel had the nerve, sometimes Ralph Angel irritates the hell out of me. But he had the nerve to say to her, first you working for her, now you wearing her clothes. You didn't even have to bring that up and make her feel bad. You know what I mean? That the fact that you knew that wasn't her clothes. Nobody else did no shit like that, Ralph Angel. Sit your ass down. But anyway, Darla was like, I spilled coffee on myself, raw. And that was it. That's what happened. He was like, oh, but you really look good, though. I think he caught himself. I'm like, good. I'll go sit the fuck down. Nova. Yeah, Nova actually went down to the office. That's when she found out everything about her dad's job and all of that. She went to the company and got his belongings and all that. Came back, and they were saying we hadn't heard anything from Ernest, and we just didn't know. We were expecting the worst, And naturally, that's what had happened. And after a year, they hadn't discarded his things. They still had it. I was like, that was a decent job. She ended up talking to Mr. Prosper, and that's what Mr. Prosper told her. Yeah, I knew and everything. So she was feeling some kind of way. Definitely kept it away from Charlie Sheen saying to Charlie because they wanted everything to go well for Charlie. That was the big thing. Charlie was actually making history at the time. Remember, she's the first black woman to ever own a mill in Louisiana in the whole state. So they wanted everything to go well for Charlie, and that was where the issue came from with the reporter. She was saying, he's like, you're trying to spin this and try to make it be something else, this, that, and the other. You keep trying to, everything I ask you questions, you keep going back and saying stuff about your father. And she's like, because that's the story. That is the story. That's the story you're here to record, and that's it. She said, listen, let me tell you something. Because there was a whole situation. She was doing the whole thing. They cut the ribbon and all of that. And they had the important people from downtown and all of that were there. And then the alarm went off. There was a issue where too much cane went through, and it just kind of caused a red flag. And, it's a mill, so it, it's like, oh boy. And all the farmers were there too, like, Lord, what's wrong? She runs back, and she kind of panics. She went into this whole panic-stricken mode. And they're like, Remy's like, oh, the reporter even questioned Remy. And Remy's like, child, I'm afraid of the family. Go sit the fuck down. So she's like, They're like, Charlie, it's fine. The guys are going to take care of it. Don't worry about it. She's like, no, this can't happen. Not today. She just broke down. And she's like pulling the cane out herself, trying to clear the thing. And they're just looking at her. They're looking at her. And then Nova goes and gets her. And she's like, no, let the people do their job. This is going to be fine. She's like, this is normal. It happens. She's like, but not today. Not today. And the thing was, she was trying to overcompensate. When her and Nova started talking, she was trying to overcompensate. She wanted everything perfect because she was carrying some guilt from when the father died. And remember, before he died, he had asked her to come and she did not come. So she's been carrying that guilt with her. And she said it to Nova. She said, he asked me for help. He asked me to come and I didn't come. And when I get here, he's dead. This is, she just messed up about it. Nova then shared where she said, you know what? Everybody messes up sometime. It is what it is. She said, when I got her, so I'm 20 miles away. And when I got here, he couldn't talk no more. So she's carrying that guilt. Again, the sisters were able to bond, pull through what was going on. This season, we've been seeing a lot of growth in the siblings. Even Ralph Angel, there's growth that's taking place. He ended up taking Blue to the store just to get some candy or something earlier in the program and rolled up on the woman. Remember the woman that he robbed in the beginning? And she's like, I lost my job because of you. She had a whole different store. And he's like, what? I don't know you. She gonna say, you're a liar. You do know me. So he took Blue and ran on out of there. Blue asked him later on, why that lady called you a liar? And he's like, I don't know, but I ain't lying no more. I ain't lying no more. And I said, when he said that, I said, where's this girl go? Hold that thought, and I'll tell you in a minute where that went. Blue also found out about Kenya, that doll is not Kenya. He said, Kenya had a birthmark. I gave it to her myself, and it's not there. This is not Kenya. And he ended up telling her, Kenya got thrown away. And he said, did she do something wrong? Did I do something wrong? He's like, no, it was just an accident. She got thrown away. Anyway, he laughed and said, you just said you ain't lying no more, you lying motherfucker. But anyway, I was glad he didn't go into the story and tell her, because Blue would probably been mad as hell at Darla. So anyway, after all that goes on, everything went fine. Charlie told the reporter, listen, write the story about the meal and my dad, and I promise you, I'll give you the exclusive because I am divorcing Davis. I'll give you the exclusive and I'll call you back. But right now, I just need you to write this story the way that it needs to be written. And he agreed. And I was like, good. So maybe he's not so much of a jerk. You know what I mean? Because I was about to be real through with his ass. I had had enough of him. He is wearing me out. So later on, they were like, this has been a success. Of course, it's just Darla and Charlie. They're sitting there. She told her, I really thank you about giving me the job. Me having a regular schedule really helps with my sobriety and my journey and all of that. And I'm like, okay, it was a real touching moment between Darla and Charlie. And she says, did you get to eat? She's like, no, I'm okay. She's like, there's leftovers and things like that. Whatever. She's like, no, I'm okay, whatever. She's like, okay, well, let's celebrate. She goes and she gets a bottle of wine. And then she stops herself and she says, Darla, I'm so sorry. I'm so busy and so crazy, I forgot. And she says, how about we have some iced tea? And I was still watching Charlie. I'm like, bitch, you better not get yourself a glass of wine and give her iced tea. But she didn't. She even changed the glasses, which I wouldn't have done. I would have still put it in the wine glass and just put iced tea in there because you want her to feel just as normal as everybody else. But she changed both glasses. She basically went down to where they were even ground. You know what I mean? And I was like, okay, Charlie. And they both sat and they had a toast with some iced tea. And Darla felt good. And then she said that, I'm coming up on 2 years sobriety. There's a celebration. And Ralph Angel's going to come. And I was wondering if you would come. And Charlie just looked at her and she told her, she says, I'm really flattered that you would invite me. Absolutely, I'll be there. Come on now. I was happy. Very, very happy. And I said, okay, they got me. I'm real happy here. So what the hell's going to happen? You know something's going to happen. So next day they go up to the gravesite and they're going through all of this stuff because all of this is falling together. You know, they got the celebration for Charlie. Then the very next day is going to the gravesite for Papa Borderlawn, and then they're going to have family dinner. I'm like, something going to happen to this family dinner. You know, family dinners always be some mess. So they go up there. They show a quick scene where Anvi and Nova are actually having a talk. And Nova speaks about her mother. Her mother doesn't have a tombstone. Said her mother never wanted a headstone. She just is free. Remember, Nova's mother was just like Nova. She did all the rituals and all of that stuff. So she said she's free. And Nova was like, I miss Mama. And that's when Vi said to her, you know what? I miss her too. And that was something interesting because they don't speak about the mother very much. And you know, Aunt Vi is Ernest's sister. So that was really good to see that. I get the feeling that Aunt Vi, like they really were close. Like everybody was close. And when their mother was still living, she was just like a sister to Vi is what I pulled from that. So I was like, that was really cool. And I think that was the whole point that Ava DuVernay actually put that piece in there just to show the tightness of the family as a whole, because this is where we're seeing them going back to. Because like I said, everything with Charlie, it seems that Charlie is starting to treat Darla as an equal. You know, she's not treating her like some just old regular schmegular girl off the street that she just happened to hire. She's starting to kind of treat her like she is her sister-in-law. So really cool. And we've come a long way in a year with Darla, because you remember they was giving her crack itchiness and giving her, girl, get your ass out of here, honey. So this is what I'm like, okay, come on, Ava, I'm following you. I got you. So, go through all that. We're at the dinner. The dinner, this is literally, the dinner piece is right after Ralph Angel and Little Blue had that conversation. He says, I'm not lying no more. They get to the table. Aunt Vi says, Ralph Angel, I want you to do the blessing. He says, I'm all right. She says, Ralph Angel, bless the damn table. So he's like, okay, God knows. Why'd you make him do it? So he goes and he does. He starts talking about Papa Borderlawn, about how he looks at his dad and how he respected his dad and how he wanted to do. He said, every time I looked in his face, I saw a good man, and I saw a man that wanted me to be a better man because I was so busy screwing up, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be a better man. I'm not going to tell lies, and I'm not going to do any of that. I'm going to do what it is that my father wanted me to do. So that's what he says. He said, I have to tell y'all something. I've been not being truthful with you all this time. And he drops the bomb and he lets them know about the letter. Well, immediately Charlie is thrown. She's like, what? So she gets mad, you know, at him holding back. And she says, you know, her point is, you use me. You use me. You use my money. And you knew all along that you own the farm. It's like you were being dishonest. And I can understand that she would feel that way. You're being dishonest. She's like, I uprooted my whole family. I started this meal and all of this. None of this was necessary for me to do, knowing that I don't even own any of the land. It has nothing to do with me. It has to do with you. Now, Nova took the place. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? Nova was really burnt in the ass because she felt like at this point, after finding out that information about the dad, and this is how Charlie ended up finding out, and it just got worse. She's like, you mean to tell me that my father worked himself into the ground about you? You, just you. He worked himself into the ground. He was embarrassed about not farming. He ended up doing a job working for white folks when he never wanted to work for white folks, and beat himself into the ground, putting clothes and food to your baby and taking care of you and keeping up things when you were away and in jail. And then he actually everything was given to you. Now, I kind of couldn't feel her on the everything was given to Ralph Angel thing. I mean, it was what it was. I feel you about the whole thing about feeling how your father worked himself into the grave because he was really too old. He was too old to be doing all that shit. Trying him and Vi both. Too fucking old to be trying to raise Blue. It just was what it was. They were breaking their back trying to raise Blue. It was a lot. And trust me, it is. It's a lot raising kids. And especially other people's kids. Because there's a whole nother set of issues. Not like raising your own kids. It is stressful as hell raising someone else's children. Ask me how I fucking know. Anyway, so I'm like, okay, this is, the layers of this is just too much. It's so many layers to the shit that I'm like, oh my God, this is terrible. So Aunt Vi told Micah to take Blue outside. And they'll, go outside. Darla, okay, so this is when we're finding out different things. So Charlie's like, wait a minute. So Aunt Vi, you knew. And then she says, well, wait a minute. And then Darla's like, she's like, so you've been lying and deceiving me this whole time, Ralph Angel. Are you kidding me? And Darla said, no, it wasn't like that, Charlie. That's not what he was trying to do. It's not like that. Hollywood told Darla, hey, right here is where you and I exit the conversation. We should stay out of it. Let them handle it, which was absolutely right. Yes, they treat you like a sister. They're starting to treat you like a sister-in-law. Baby, don't fuck it up. You shut up and I shut up. This is Vi and the three siblings. Period. Shut your mouth. So I was like, okay, cool. Good. And she just, she hushed her mouth because you're about to lose your job and might get your ass whooped at the same time. So he's like, he done went to crying. Your aunt told you your ass was going to be crying, but motherfucker, you didn't want to listen. But anyway, so at this point, shit then got ugly. Nova has gotten up, and that's her thing. She get ready to leave, and Charlie is kind of sitting there, and then she pulled her chair back. So I'm like, damn, she get ready to leave too. So Vi got up, and that's what Aunt Vi, because Aunt Vi was keeping quiet at first. She's keeping quiet, and she's like, no, Charlie, nobody was trying to use you or to deceive you, and we're just finding this out. Whatever. So when they were getting ready to try to leave, and I'm like, come on, Aunt Vi, what you getting ready to do? Honey, because if they go out that door, I don't know how, when, or how long it'll take to actually fix this shit. And I think Vi knew that. Honey, Vi stood in front of that door, and she said, Nova, you are not leaving. You're not leaving. And Nova said, you can't stop me from leaving, Aunt Vi. And she stood there like, girl, you don't really want to test me. You really... She told them, she said, listen. And that was it. This is when I got. She said, listen, nobody is leaving until we straighten out this mess. I said, ooh, honey. The matriarch has stood up and she has spoken. Baby, that was it. The tears started falling, honey. I said, oh, Vi, you better get them together, honey. And that's where the scene actually left out. I'm telling you, in that piece right there, Aunt Vi, Nova, and Charlie acted their asses off. You hear me? They did the shit out of that scene. That right there so far has been my favorite scene of actually both seasons. They did the shit out of that scene. I mean, I immediately started crying. I was like, wow. I was like, okay, here we go. Because remember, I think it hit me because Vi was kind of shying away from her role in the beginning of this episode as the matriarch of the family. And, Hollywood told her, you need to get your pumps on and stand in your position. And she was so fucking in it at the end. This was a very good episode. Very good episode. It was good. This one was good. So that's literally where they ended. So I will be back with you guys next Wednesday. I can't wait to see what is actually going to happen next. So until then, later. And just a side note from last week. I didn't want to interrupt my review of this week, but from last week. Okay, I missed it. I don't think I was putting 20 on 10. It was a stretch. It was a stretch that the Antoine character is actually a transgender woman. I didn't get that from the way it was written and the way it was acted out. I didn't get transgender woman. I got gay individual who's been teased as a child. When I went back and watched it again, I did not pull that information that, oh, she's a transgender male. I just didn't get that. I don't know why, because usually I'm so up on that stuff. It just did not come across that way to me. There wasn't enough information. And I'm wondering, did you all get it because you heard the buzz after the fact to find out that the actor is actually a transgender woman? Is that why that tipped you off? Or did you actually, be truthful, did you actually get that from what you watched on the show without actually knowing, the intent behind it? Because I sure didn't. I needed something more to pull transgender out of it. Just because they called her Antoinette, that's not that people do that all the time. When they're teasing gay children, they will call you a female version of your name as an insult. That's what I got from it. I didn't get transgender from what was written and what was presented. But maybe that's me. We'll talk about it in the comments. All right. I just wanted to get that out there. All right, you guys. Later.